Alright, so got the fender off, got the air filter housing, the bracket. Pretty simple. There's like 4 bolts there. Fender's easy, 2 bolts here, 2 here. I took that bracket off, so now you can kind of see the beast. Well, I also took the alternator off, alternator bracket, so you can kind of get to the front tubing. So here it is right here, this big ass thing. It goes to the back. I got the turbo clamp off so far. Still gotta get the lines off there, and let's see the turbo bolts. So at the heat, you got one there, one there, one there, one hidden behind there, and then one back there. And then you can take this whole thing off after you disconnect the oil feed tube on both, the drain tube on both. It's just kind of a freaking pain in the ass. So any little brackets you can get off to make it easier. It's definitely the way to go, so you have more room. Some people take this off the rear fender, but I had the seat off before. So the seat was just 4 bolts. The doghouse was about 1, 2, 3, 4. You lift this up, there's a couple more bolts here. I take the shifter housing off, not too bad, just 2 bolts. Throttle, I unbolted. I bolted back just so it wouldn't be in the way. So down here, we got, there's, I don't know, let's see if you can see. It's like there's 3 bolts that go to the back of back of the cooler. Those 3 bolts are going to come off, and this pops out, this crossover tube. After you get a mounting bolt there. So I'm hoping I can squeeze in there from below to get those 3 bolts this time or not. So you can see just a lot of shit, a lot of heating. This one's just so rusted. I don't know why they don't plow it. It's not like a plow truck or anything, but it is just rusted for 2011. So also back, once you rip that off, we got more lines back of the cooler down there. It just keeps going. So even if, it might be a good idea to like kind of record yourself too. So if this is the first time, so you can kind of go back and look. I do that. I used to do that a long time ago, just on my phone, or even take pictures of certain things, just to kind of help you out in this process. But I got the intake, one turbo to the other, so unclamp this, pop this out. Now I also noticed the freaking boost sensor looks like it's freaking melted something, so I'm gonna get a new one of those. And let's see, I just keep going at it till we get it to here. Drain the coolant all the way down, put fresh stuff in. Just a process. So nuts and bolts, they say, but also a lot of patience and heating in this case. So to get the turbo off and everything, I'll kind of bring you back to see where it is. Alright, so I took the wheel off, the rear fender. This thing's kind of a nightmare. I took the coal there on the bottom turbo off to get more access to the turbo supply hose. I don't know if we can see back in here, but the bolt that holds it in is like literally rotted. And I tried stuff on it. I didn't want it to break in there, so I went down at the bottom to try to spin it, and that was just kinking up, so I just cut it so I can take the whole assembly off. Already heated all the bolts to get off. Like I said, there's like 4 you can see, then one, let's see if I should, there's one just right up there. So those weren't horrible, I just wanted to heat them nice and red, don't want to break those off, but bolted that. So went back here and got most of the stuff. I haven't got that crossover pipe yet, and I have to get the second half of this, that down pipe of the turbo. At least I get that off. I'm going to try to heat the bolts under there, because I can't pull, well, I can't pull this out with the bottom half, so it also get easy to get down in there. So plus you can see a little bit of white. I don't know if it shows it there on that exhaust, but so I'm gonna try to see if I can at least manhandle that turbo out. Before I go, let's see. Five points. Off. That fucking oh shit. Sorry for the ride, but so now you can really see the freaking the cooler. She's big. So all right, so I have to deal with that next time, but hopefully I can try to heat up that little one. I might be able to get, I have those little easy out ones, so just grab onto it. I was trying a little bit, but I'm gonna put a little heat to it. So fun. All right, so we're coming along. We got the exhaust brake out. That belongs right behind the cooler. Gotta heat up this bracket right here and everything. And there's a couple of lines. I got these 3 bolts to take off to pop that back, but you know. But anyways, so I was checking out the turbo because I got that line that I had to cut, the turbo feed line, because of the bolt. But you can see there's a good amount of oil. It's like even in the snail, it's all like caked up. But the bigger problem, well, that's a problem, but another problem is that the high pressure turbo binds up. Wow. And then it spins. Yeah, so that's the problem. It'll spin freely, but then binds up. So I got the, really can't see, but like this should be spinning freely. So that's a problem. Get the foreman coming to kind of check it out, because those turbos aren't cheap. So let's see, we got, let's see if I can get, what did I put you? Right here. Get in. If you even see those bolts are not in kind of a shitty spot. So maybe I can put you over. Let's see if you see that. But yeah, so a little bit of heat goes for these exhaust brackets. Everything's just like, it's just a nightmare when it comes to getting the exhaust stuff off. Yeah, that's loose. Let's try this one. Let's see. In there. And the other one's kind of hidden back here. See, I'm curious inside here if it's wet. Kind of tell me that it's definitely coolant, or it's not supposed to be. These Maxxforces. Let's see if I can get this a little better now. And worst comes if they break, it's in the cooler anyways, and they come with new bolts, but I'm gonna put a little bit of like a rag over the exhaust so shit doesn't fall inside it. And when this comes out right here, some coolant comes out when you pull those lines off. So give you much room. Still probably a pain. Yeah, surprisingly, these crack loose. Get a good light in here. So there's just one bolt that holds kind of this to the back of the block. So you can kind of just pry this back off the cooler. That's the plan. Okay. So now I got you. Let's see, take this pipe off, unbolt this to here so we can try to pop it. You got mountain bolts, 1, 2, 3. Should be, I think there's like 3 underneath here, and then you got this back side of it that we kind of pop off once it's unbolted. So it's just a little bit of a wiggle game. Hey, so the customer swung by while I was taking the EGR valve out, so I couldn't record, but you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 3 bolts at the top, 2 at the bottom. You gotta kind of like pry it, loosen it up. You get the the coolant line here that you pop out, and then biggest thing is you gotta kind of wiggle this off. Wiggle, wiggle, it comes off, popped out, and let me show you it. Luckily, like I said, the foreman was here so I could show him that the bottom, I don't know if you can see, the bottom is wet. At the very bottom, it's kind of hard to get, but shininess at the bottom. See, there's coolant. Never mind how caked up it is. So I got that coming, and he said go ahead with the turbo. I had him spin it just to kind of prove that it's bound up, everything. So getting that shit ordered up, and then we'll start assembling. Alright, so we got, I cleaned up the threads while I had the cooler out for the turbo. Changed the little like rings, exhaust rings for the other one and the other side. So you got these 2 bolts that you gotta put in first into the cooler. Then you place it down because it'll hit the frame. So I'm gonna manhandle that cooler over here. Let's see a butcher right here. The gasket on. Fuck. Fucking tight. Everything's so fucking tight. I gotta try to, for some reason, the old one had bolts and this one has studs that I gotta put lined up in there too, so see if I can that started. That's so good. These studs, get that out of the way. Rotate. My finger. Don't need that. Okay, we're in there. We're in there. Put the bolts down here. Throw a couple way down. Couple bolts. See studs. Studs. Get those started. This shit's in the way. Now, baby. One there, gasket there. Oh, here we go. There we go. Like, what the fuck? Okay. Yeah, when people like, sometimes you watch videos like this, they're like, all right, ta-da, it's on. They don't show you the fun part of getting it all lined up and stuff, so I'll at least show that. I try to. Sometimes there's just too much swearing. My daughter's like, yeah, I won't. She's like, I want to subscribe to you. Subscribe to you. I'm like, all right. She's 9. I'm turning 9. And luckily, I don't think she's going to watch the videos. I don't want to all the F-bombs. I never swear around her. It's something I just don't do. I'm not around her. It's like every other word. So luckily, I kind of keep my cool. Start these with this. Someone's dying. You dead? Almost. So I get it started. Get it started in here. Let's see. Last one is fucking over here. Alright, so gonna tighten those up. Going to get and pop this in, you also want to make sure you change these. Pop that in and change this one here to there. And then I'll put the turbos together. There we go. Alright, so the new studs on here, bolts, is a an O-ring, that middle O-ring gasket that goes into a slot inside there. Offset. Fuck. Yeah, so it's offset. You really can't put it on wrong. The bolts are bolt pattern. We gotta run, just gotta put it down and work it around since there's so many different mountain points. Kind of put it really nice and even on different spots. So it snugs down. We got a nice snug. can tight fit, slice my finger. Alright. Should be good. So I like to put oil in the feeds, the oil feed, before I hook up the line. One there and one there. You can see the bolt. So I like to squirt some in while I, give a little spin. So now we get the drains, which pretty much just pop in, but there's that O-ring right there you want to change with the kit. So I'll get those things going. Get the exhaust on. Start connecting all this stuff, and then get the feed, intake feed. So, still gotta change the boost pressure sensor, but get in there. This C-clamp. So we're getting there. We're getting there. Alright, so it's all back together. Just put the coolant in. We're going to run it. Check for any leaks. So it's going to be a little loud. It's going to be a lot loud. And then everything's good. I'll just put everything back together. Thanks for watching. We'll let this run a little while, get up the temperature, take it for a ride. Till the next one. Thanks again.